Welcome back to Ross Taylor Woodworks. A Waverly Township cleanup video. Found this bed. Alright, here we have the headboard. If you remember, this is all broken apart. This one post is all split. It's going to have to be replaced. And over here we have the rest of the headboard. One post is in good shape. This panel here is split, and the rail is split. Those would be an easy fix. I got to make one new panel right here. There's a panel missing, and I'm going to have to reproduce this profile in the other post. Piece here with a bead in the middle. I have to reproduce the slot on the new post and put a pin in. Okay, the one rail is in good shape. Just one of these blocks broke off. On the other rail, there's some damage at the end here. This split out at the end. Not an uncommon repair I've done before. And the rails have a hook on the end. They're all in good shape, except for that one broken end. And the footboard's in perfect condition. No repairs needed here. As you can see here on the bed rail, it was previously painted a sort of battleship gray, and then a white was put over top. So it'd be too much work to strip. And I'm going to do a Shabby Chic finish. I'm going to work with the white paint. In any repaired areas, I'll touch up the white paint. Okay, first going to disassemble the headboard. There's some nails on the back side pinning the tenons. To get those out, now I'm going to take a knife and mark the location of the rails, so when I go to reassemble, I know exactly where they're supposed to go. Here I'm going to take some new oak and glue two pieces together to make a post. And I'm using some salvaged oak for the panel. Alright, the next thing is to glue up all the splits and cracks. Okay, I've got my post milled up. We're going to do this profile on the front here. But first, I want to orient everything as a left and right. Okay, we've got our groove here, and I want to get the groove, the opposing groove in the right place. So we got a right and left. So I'm going to make a mark just to indicate where the groove will be, so I keep track of where that's going to be. Okay, we're going to do that detail on the front using a core box bit, and mark the both sides of the router bit on the table. This is just a shallow cut. The center point is about 3/8 in from the edge. When I reach my stopping point, I'll pull up. Now for the opposite cut, I'm going to drop it over the cutter on my mark. Okay, now I'm going to use what's called a tadpole. There's a little rubber sanding block. And clean up the groove. And kind of taper this end. Now on the original post, it's rounded over on the edge here a little bit. So this is going to take a hand plane and round this over. And go back in with the sandpaper and clean it up. And we got a perfect match. Alright, now we have to make this trim piece on the top here, and it's got a round over in the middle. And the only way to do this is in 3 pieces. Okay, here's the finished trim piece. And the first thing I made was the center piece, which is a piece of 1/2 inch thick oak, and used a 3/4 inch bead plane to make a bull-nosed shaped piece, and then ripped it to 5/16 of an inch. I then made the outer pieces, which are 5/8 wide by 5/16 inch thick, and then put a slight bevel on the inside edge. I then laid them out on a board and then proceeded to glue the 3 pieces together so I could clamp it to the board, holding it flat while I clamp across the 3 pieces. I then cut it to the proper length, then beveled the bottom edge and trimmed it for width. Okay, now we're going to make that groove that we marked earlier and the ending point. Now I've set up the dado head 7/8 high and 3/8 wide. Okay, I've marked my stopping point on the table saw, and I'm going to reach my stopping point here and lift out. Now I'll take a 3/8 chisel and square up the end of the groove. Okay, now we have to cut the slot for the rail. I'm going to transfer that over, line up the ends. Now I'm going to measure in from the outside. And come over to the outside of this post, transfer that over. Measure to the inside. And mark that. Okay, now I've got to cut that slot, and I'll show you how to do that. First I want to measure the depth of the slot. About 1.25 inches. And believe it or not, get the old Milwaukee out and make a freehand plunge cut. and I set the saw to 1.25 inches. I marked the location of the hole, and I'm drilling a 5/16 inch hole. Alright, now I'm test fitting the headboard.